Let the release report. Blah 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 blah. Yep. Welcome back to Sonic and the Secret Rings.
I like this song.
Sobbing song.
I like the song, but it plays way too much.
Oh, I don't even think the song's all that great in the first place.
The Crush 40 version is quite better. I prefer the Crush 40 version.
Yeah, I prefer the original. Weird. I mean, it's weird. It seems to be a trend with that in the storybook games. Like, I also prefer the original version of With Me opposed to...
Oh, no, I prefer the version... I prefer the original With Me as well.
You know, if this... I wonder if Sonic's actually risking taking his Gaviscon with him to cure that heartburn.
That's a Gaviscon.
It's a type of medicine here in the UK that can help relieve heartburn.
It's basically, Jova, it's kind of a 2-to-1 to me, in the sense that when Crush 40 did their cover of his world, their cover is god awful and completely misses what the song was supposed to be about.
Was there like
which is a shame, because that's one of my favorite songs in this.
Well, that's okay, sure. We have the Zebrahead version. We have the Zebrahead version. So
or you talk about I'm sorry. What do you say then? Were you saying that that the Crush 40 version is one of your favorites, or the song?
No, the original song.
No, the one that's canon to the game.
There's three versions. There's three versions.
Zebrahead version that actually says the A word in it.
Yeah, well, remember, Joe, but that's because the Zebrahead version was exclusive to the vocal tracks, so obviously they were allowed to be a bit more naughty in that.
But even still, I mean, that's a step further than even Shadow the Hedgehog ones. Like, Shadow the Hedgehog just said the D word, which, honestly, at this point...
but Shadow was an actual game, whereas the vocal tracks was something that pretty much only the fans even listened to. I mean, I'm pretty sure non-Sonic fans are not even aware of that fact, honestly.
Who knows?
But yeah, there are three versions of his world. The one that is only sung by Al and Matt, two of the members of Zebrahead. Then, of course, June brought in the rest of the band to do a full-blown Zebrahead version in the vocal tracks. And then he had one of his brain dread moments when they made the Crush 40 version, which is absolutely god-awful.
I mean, I get what they're trying to go for, making it sound all solemn and everything, but... okay, look.
That song was not made with that tone in mind.
The sad thing is that the opening actually does sound kind of promising, you know, sounds all epic in a slow version, but then the lyrics enter the picture, and I'm sorry, even Shadow the Hedgehog had a more triumphant theme with All Hail Shadow. Speaking of which...
Shadow's vocal tracks are great. But anyway...
Speaking of which, I'm so glad that as of Generations, All Hail Shadow is still pretty much Shadow's theme, because honestly, I do think it's the best theme for Shadow, given how his whole journey and stuff.
My problem is that... I don't know, like, I don't think Shadow's theme should be a theme that literally talks about how he's the most amazing thing ever. I think Throw It All Away was a more subtle way of... Go ahead.
Okay, I know that the main theme is
Sonic being subtle.
Anyway, I know that hold on, let me finish. I know that the main lyrics are All Hail Shadow, but Pedro, most of that song is not about how awesome Shadow is.
True, but it's called All Hail Shadow, so... Yeah.
That's just the main lyrics, so I mean... And honestly, they actually do tie in everything. The song is mainly about actually how he chose the hero's path and how far he's come. And how, you know, when he actually does properly work together with his band of heroes, nothing can stop them when you get down to it. I mean, heck, I'll even give Sonic 06 credit. The instrumental version of All Hail Shadow does kind of
cutscene.
Grow on that.
Are we too late?
And there we go. Eggman is the king.
Sultan.
Yeah, or king, rather. I think he's called king in this. Is it Sultan? Okay.
Yep.
Oh, there goes. He calls himself king of this land.
Yeah, but he's referred to as Sultan, you know, offhand because, you know, Arabic settings.
Mm-hmm. Haha, it's funny and ironic because Eggman is a good guy in this universe.
Yeah, that's the weird thing. Eggman is not
Pedro.
What?
Yeah, I mean, yeah. So, yeah. I gotta say that the humor in this game is not great. So from what I've seen so far, it's... I mean,
we weren't really talking about the humor there.
Yeah, but
no, the base of it just came off as a joke, you know, like he's not Eggman, he's someone else.
Well, that's kind of what it is, but I think it's fine enough, honestly. It's not like they rub it in your face or anything.
Yeah.
Whether it's rubbed in your face or not, it still doesn't make it funny.
I think you're kind of looking for ants where there's no molehill.
There's something very funny.
Interesting analogy.
The Die Hard challenge. Come on, we're gonna have John McClane fighting alongside us.
Sure, why not? It's not even just, but like I was trying to say earlier, though, it's kind of a 2-for-1 for me, Joe, because yeah, like we just said, the Crush 40 version of his world is god awful. But
I wouldn't even call it god awful. I kind of like it, but it doesn't really feel that fitting per se.
Yeah.
And I get it that the remixes are supposed to be like that, but even the Zebrahead version, cursing aside, does sound like.
Well, the Zebrahead version was, of course, I mean, the song was already technically Zebrahead, but
I know. What I'm saying is like the Zebrahead remix, all in that, cursing aside, it still does sound nice, action pumped, and fitting.
Yeah. Well, the Zebrahead version was basically June brought in the whole band. Okay, guys, now that you're not limited by the game, how would you make this song if this was entirely yours? And basically, he gave Zebrahead full creative freedom to just make their own personal version of the song, which I think they even perform it sometimes in their own live shows. I think.
Yeah.
So basically, the Zebrahead version was meant for Zebrahead to just be allowed to just make the song the way they would do it in their own complete unrestrained style.
That's one thing I do hope that Sonic Team do bring back eventually is vocal tunes. I mean, don't get me wrong, I like the sound of stuff like, Lost World and stuff, but, vocal tunes, Generation Studios show that they can still do those.
My problem with the whole recent orchestral direction. This is okay. Don't get me wrong. You can do orchestral music in Sonic. I mean, Sonic Unleashed proved that. The problem is that Sonic Unleashed still had vocal tunes. I mean, vocal tunes are one of the aspects that makes Sonic music distinct. Have their own unique identity from other video game soundtracks. So detaching yourself from that is a bit to go full-blown Mario Galaxy like Lost World soundtrack did. Is a bit.
Sonic CD is 1 out of the 5. I mean, do you remember a vocal tune for Sonics 1, 2, and 3? Even though Michael Jackson was involved.
Well, Joe, but technically there were.
I guess technically Michael Jackson does do his usual woo or his hee hee.
Yeah, or the come on. Anyway, mission failed because.
Well done, Pedro. You failed.
If there's one thing this franchise could use, it's a game that's a throwback to the classic era, in addition to a game that brings back the vocal tunes.
Let me just explain this, Joe, because I don't know how to actually explain this. Basically, in order for this mission, you have to go through it without breaking any pots, and because of the shitty controls, trust me, it's way harder than it looks. But anyway.
You know what the same is like? Well, okay. The first level of this stage, the very first one that Pedro did, that one actually is at least a good enough way of trying to get you accustomed to the controls. There are a few times when you have to, veer slightly to the right or left while avoiding stuff, and you're not too punished for it. So, while the controls are finicky, I do give credit to the first stage for being a good sort of warmer-upper. But then it's followed by missions like these, which require precision. And it wouldn't be so bad if you could do them whichever way you want. There's the problem. In order to proceed in the story, you gotta do the missions.
Yeah. And like we've said...
And it doesn't help that it... And the worst thing is that there's not even really a clear sense of what missions you need to do, because sometimes doing certain missions can net you different cutscenes, to different story segments. Oh, did I also mention that you can end up leaving these worlds without getting the rings?
Yeah, which you can literally get to a point where you don't know what you missed, and so you probably don't even know what the hell to do next.
It's a similar problem I have with Kingdom Hearts 2 in that you can skip Disney World.
The Stone Cold Genie Man.
Whoever structured this game needs to be fired.
Whoever did that typo. Anyway,
just to finish what I was saying though, was because I was.
No, I'm perfectly okay with typos in video games. Me as
well. Let me guess, Ace Attorney has made you have a fun.
Yeah, not just Ace Attorney, but anyway, cutscene.
Oh yeah, there's a lot more, but that's the main one.
Yeah.
Good job, Sonic.
Yeah. I thought I was done for.
I was just gonna say.
Okay, Amy. Okay, okay.
The voice actress for Tails is called Amy.
Amy Pallant, yeah. Amy, nothing against you. I'm sure you're a nice woman, but
Oh, it's okay.
a good Tails you do not make.
This sounds all right for a girl geek, but not Tails.
Yeah, she cannot for the life of her disguise her voice from. It's clearly a feminine
Would you believe
voice.
that there was an entire era of Sonic where people who were new to the franchise thought Tails was a girl?
Yeah.
Yeah, for the last 5 years. Well, technically 7, but
Let's just
This
say.
is why
Well, let's just
That's
say.
I've never heard of that
Well,
because
okay, sorry.
that was the first. I grew up with Sonic X, so but I always thought Tails was a guy. So
Well, Sonic X at least makes it more apparent. You see, here's the thing about Amy Pallant as Tails. She has those games where she does do a good boyish voice, and then there's some games where she doesn't do a good boyish voice. It's really weird.
it's
Kate,
random.
let's just say that
Ironically,
Kate and Colin are much better.
I gotta say, it's really ironic that her debut Tails is definitely one of her better times as Tails in Sonic
So
X.
she got worse, then she got better.
Yeah.
I'm not even kidding. Her performance in 06 is some of the worst voice acting I've ever heard from
Well,
her. It's
to be
so
fair,
terrible.
Everyone in 06 was
Well,
Even
Mike
Mike
Pollock was. I don't know. I think Mike Pollock was fine regarding the source material he had.
Remember, Pedro, he admitted in an interview that he was directed to tone down the
No,
bombastic.
I'm aware of that. I'm aware of that. It's just that
Well,
I
here's
think Mike Pollock managed to come out with it with dignity at least.
the main thing to take away from that is that everyone in 06 was directed to sound exactly the way they did, regardless
Yeah.
of talent, honestly.
Well,
Anyway, I was
I'm not necessarily blaming the actors, Joe, but the acting itself is terrible, regardless of what the reason was.
Well, it's weird. I'm not... Okay, it's one of those things where I'm hesitant to call the acting terrible because technically, with what they were directed to sound like, they got it to a T, which is the problem. Because again, 06 was Sega of Japan trying to do stuff after Sega of America dare to make the Hedgehog more pop. Oh my God.
That was more so in the 90s, Joe. I think you're getting it.
No.
mixing things up
Remember,
there.
Pedro, Sega of Japan admitted that 06 was supposed to be a reboot to get the Hedgehog.
Which reminds
back
me,
on
did you?
track.
I don't know what reminds me. Did you see the video that I sent you yesterday? You know that
Which
video
one?
about Sega in the
Anyway,
90s.
I was trying to.
Oh, that. No, I haven't yet.
Get around to it because it's really good and informative. You were saying
Anyway, I was
Dibs?
trying. Yeah, I was trying to say for the past 10 minutes. I actually really like a game like Theatrhythm, but with Sonic music.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, true.
Yeah,
Oh,
we
so like
could-
a Sonic Rhythm game.
The problem is that the Theoretum stuff is a Square IP,
Samba.
so that.
No. I mean, with its own unique spin.
we kind of
Oh,
already
I mean-
have Samba de
I mean, how
Amigo,
we've
don't we?
I mean, hell, that could actually be something. That could be like something unique you could give to Sonic Team, since since, you know they're you know since they've been doing other games. You know, like Puyo Puyo Tetris turned out good.
Again, though,
Maybe not.
don't they already have Samba de Amigo for the rhythm game thing?
No, well, some of the Amigos more so like. It's not so much about the music in
Samba de
it.
Sonic.
Some of the Amigo is basically a musical excuse to be racist, Joe. That's basically it.
Well, aside from that, obviously,
the only time I've ever played that game was on Sega Super.
I'm talking about the gameplay.
I guess, sure. I guess you can technically count it. But just
Although
to
it's
finish,
weird, why not just make a Theatrhythm sequel?
You mean a sequel to Samba de Amigo?
No, Theatrhythm. I mean, since you were mentioning. Oh wait, never mind.
No,
That mixed up with Rhythm Thief.
Theoretum is a Square IP, so that.
I know. I got that mixed up. I meant Rhythm Thief.
Anyway,
But
oh yeah,
then
a new
again,
Rhythm
Thief's
Thief.
Not really that much.
A new Rhythm Thief. The original game wasn't exactly a good seller, so I kind of doubt Sega will go back to it. Anyway, just to finish what I was saying. Like I said, it's 2 for 1. Like I said, I hate the Crush 40's version of his world. However, I really like their version of Seven Rings in Hand. I think they do, especially that final that Johnny makes. I think it's a really interesting and cool way of finishing the song. But yeah, I think don't get me wrong, Steve Conte's version is fine. It's just that Crush 40's version, I think, is a bit more has a little bit more of that classic Sonic attitude that I love from them.
I guess I could just never get into their version that much because I felt it kind of took away a lot of the epic nature of the original tune. You know, like how the original tune mixes in, you know, the Arabian acoustics here and
Yeah,
there.
I can understand that.
Again, though, I will say I do also like the Crush 40 version. I just heavily prefer the original.
As for Black Knight,
One thing we can both
sorry.
agree on, though, is
With
that
me.
with me, the original is definitely superior.
Yeah,
I love your
well,
Crush 40, but
like I said in our playthrough, With Me is, if you ask me, the greatest final boss theme in the entire series. Yes, better than Live and Learn. Come at me, fans.
I love that.
Which
song
ones?
so much.
Which one's with me from?
The final boss theme from Black Knight, Dwibs.
Have you heard the full song?
Yeah, sure, he was in the playthrough with us.
Yeah, but I mean over the noise from the in-game noise.
Just listen to it by yourself, Dwibs. With Me,
Yeah,
by all ends.
that's why I'm asking. Like, listen to it on your own time.
I'll be honest, when I listen to Sonic music, I'm really selective with what tracks, with what I usually listen to Sonic Heroes, believe it or not.
I love Sonic Heroes soundtrack, so you'll hear no complaints from me there.
yeah.
No, that's one I go back to pretty frequently, along with the vocal tracks from the Black Knight.
The only Sonic
They're some of
soundtrack.
my favorites, even though some of them are quite short because they were
It's
just battle.
this is
good.
for the sake of the fans. Sorry.
The only Sonic soundtracks I don't really go back to are stuff like Sonic Labyrinth, Sonic Schoolhouse.
Well, those are the obvious
The
examples.
spin-offs no one cares about.
Sonic Schoolhouse.
And I don't really go back to listen to.
Take me for help.
And I don't really go back to listen to Sonic Genesis is all that much. Except for
Gee, I wonder why.
I wonder why. Well, that's the thing. That the only halfway decent song in that version is Starlight Zones.
Well, don't forget the remixes that you unlock by completing the game.
Do you mean the ones that sound better and yet somehow we got the crap versions?
Basically, Dweebs, if you complete Sonic Genesis, you know those remixes.
Yeah, he knows.
Of
He knows,
the tunes
Jova.
that you
Yeah,
get
I
in
know.
the
I know.
credits.
The remix you hear during the credits, you hear it, you get to listen
And
to
then
it.
you get the option to
Yeah.
play them, and you play the game again.
Great. You have to unlock better music. Anyway, yeah, like I was saying,
Even
yeah.
even then, it's not that great.
I love both versions of With Me, but yeah, All Ends version is better. But just to actually also, because I know a lot of Live and Learn fans are gonna say something. Don't get me wrong, I love Live and Learn. Who doesn't? But the thing is, one minor complaint I have about Live and Learn as a final boss scene is that the lyrics don't really reflect what's going on in the game, plot-wise. I mean, the song feels like it was made before the game was made and then put on the game, whereas With Me so blatantly reflects the emotional status of both Marlena and Sonic.
You know what? I'd love if there were a vocal. If at some point in the future and technology's progressed enough, they make a final theme that actively changes depending on the situation. Like the lyrics change if you're low on health. If you're
Actually, they have made
boss,
that. Actually,
or
that's
if you hit the boss.
that's perfectly possible to do, guys, if a composer wishes.
What Dweebs is saying is while you're fighting mid-battle, it's a vocal boss tune where, if you're low on health, the lyrics literally change there, right there.
Oh, that.
It's like
That's more complicated.
It's like
yeah.
how in Pokemon. It's like how in Pokemon Black and White, there's a new music piece they made for when your Pokemon's low on health.
Oh, really? I really need to get
That's
around.
quite funny.
I really need to get around to playing Black and White.
They
Yeah,
they
I get
dropped
that. Oh, go
Yeah,
on.
Black and White is really good, except for the stupid story. Anyway,
they
cutscene.
dropped that thing in Gen 6 in favor of just making the beeping sound a bit shorter.
I love this one. So, Sonic is hesitant in saving him, so there you go.
Sonic Spider-Man. Sonic knows how to catch a damsel.
There you go.
How dare you? I am the king. Must you be so rude?
Sorry.
Sorry.
Where did that
We're
smell
sorry.
Just as I feared.
Come on, Sonic. After all the times Eggman saved you from certain death for some reason, could you be a little more enthusiastic?
Yeah, like that time in Sonic 2 the Game Gear edition where he saves you just to start trying to drop bowling balls onto you after kidnapping your best friend.
Remember,
Like,
it's Egg.
love is too cliche. I want to drop
Yeah.
bowling balls on his head instead.
Remember, Joe, Eggman's the kind of guy who will only let Sonic die if he's the one who does it.
Yeah. I did like how Lost World kind of established that in its neat way.
You know what I really wish, Jova? An indication of which mission am I supposed to do next. That
I
would
hear
be
you
that
on
that would
that.
be so sweet, wouldn't it?
Well, too bad, Pedro here. Have 7 rings in hand 85 times.
Yeah.
Anyway, what I was saying.
Actually, Joe, maybe that's exactly it. Now that Dwibs brought that up, maybe that's it. Maybe the reason why I prefer the Crush 40 version is because I haven't heard that version a million times.
I wouldn't be surprised. You know,
It's called
ironically,
being overplayed.
hearing that song is what helped keep me sane. Like, don't get me wrong, I liked the game, but I was driven near mad trying to figure out the right order to do these missions,
And the thing is,
especially the ones that are tough.
You're not even hearing the whole song, it's just that one line.
I mean, you technically can hear more of the song if you choose to stay on the main menu more.
I don't think anyone with sense would do that.
Well, I
If
mean,
I wanted to listen to the song, I'd just go to YouTube and listen to it.
I guess to be fair, this is back when YouTube wasn't as big a thing as it is now.
Yeah,
I'd
true.
I'd buy some Sonic music on iTunes.
Well, actually, no,
but,
Joe. I mean, yeah.
Not many. I'm not sure how much choice there is, and for some reason, the US soundtrack ain't on there.
Well, Joe, but here's the thing. YouTube wasn't that big, but torrents were. So it was very easy to torrent Sonic music.
Torrents were kind of a pain, though, for those who didn't have the
Also,
right to find.
Whips, the US
Fine,
soundtrack
peer-to-peer.
for what?
Sonic CD.
Oh, that's not on there? What?
No. Only the Japanese music is on there for reasons that will forever baffle me personally.
shame.
Wait, which game?
Sonic CD. The Japanese music's on there, but the US one isn't.
Dang.
Wait. Which version of Sonic CD are you talking about?
Yeah,
Basically,
there's 2 different soundtracks, remember, Pedro?
No, I know,
but they're not on. But the US soundtrack isn't on iTunes.
Oh, okay, never mind. I thought you were talking about some version of Sonic CD that only has the Japanese soundtrack. So I was confused.
So that's like what? No, number 123 on the list of things wrong with Apple technology.
Let's not get into that again.
That's got nothing to do with Apple technology. That's Sega's
iTunes.
fault. No, that's Sega.
I mean, come on.
Well, they have to agree to. Well, Sega has to agree and approve of what goes on what store. If the Japanese soundtrack, no, the US soundtrack isn't there, it's Sega's fault.
I mean, I'm not going to repeat my opinion on the Japanese soundtrack as a whole, but I just want to say one specific thing. But my biggest reason is why the hell is Japanese wacky workbench on there and US isn't?
That's well, the thing
Because the US one is so obviously and clearly better.
Let's not get into Sonic soundtrack
Title
fights,
Tempest
please.
USA is definitely the better one, though. That we
Well,
can
to
agree on.
end this on a positive, like since I've been listening to both soundtracks fairly recently, because for some reason I've really wanted to, I must say I actually do prefer the US soundtrack.
Yeah, for me it's a mix of both, but I do find myself preferring a lot of USA tracks. Like, I prefer Sonic.
Don't get me wrong.
Can do anything.
Don't get me wrong.
I definitely
love
prefer the USA version of Title Tempest. The USA
sorry.
version of Wacky Workbench.
Don't get me wrong. I love me some Spencer Nilsson, but I don't think his. I'm the one who still loves Echo the Dolphin, for crying out loud. But I honestly, my problem with the music is not so much that it's bad music. I mean, Spencer Nilsson is a great composer. But the problem is that I don't think his style fits Sonic. That's my problem with it. I think that's he's a bit. Spencer Nilsson's specialty is in ambient, atmospheric tracks, which is something that Sonic usually. Sonic's music is supposed to be a bit more upbeat and in your face rather than be the subtle atmosphere angle, honestly.
I'll agree. I'll ever on what Joe said about Tidal Tempest. The Japanese one's boring.
Yeah, I can agree with that one at least.
I don't get why Johnny, for example, loves that track.
I do like the Japanese soundtrack, but I much prefer the US one.
When it comes to the Japanese soundtrack, Stardust Speedway, I will definitely say that I do like.
I think everyone will to
Not to mention, I cannot. Joba, I'm sure, understands why, because he's also a huge Knights fan. I cannot for the life of me dislike things by Nofumi Ataya, except if it's his stupid, horrible remixes for another thing that I cannot mention right now.
But, yeah, Wacky Workbench. I guess that you prefer the USA version on that too, Roy?
Yes.
Now,
Well,
Metallic
well,
Madness.
in that Wacky Workbench is actually somewhat exciting to listen to. Again, the Japanese one's just boring. It's just the same melody.
Yeah, I actually will agree with you that definitely one is definitely better on Spencer's version.
Pedro, it's funny you mentioned that it doesn't really suit Sonic because we're saying this now at a time where we've had tons of Sonic games, but at the time before CD came out, there were only two? Yeah. So at the time
I see what you mean, Shiroi. I see what you mean, Shiroi. But Masato Nakamura's style is so iconic and so easily definable immediately, to me at least. I don't know about you, but after playing 2 Sonic games, the first 2, I immediately got a sense, okay, this is what Sonic music is supposed to sound like, which is why I still kind of prefer Sonic 2 soundtrack over Sonic 3 soundtrack, because Masato Nakamura's style, to me, is like the ultimate. Well, unless it's the T-Lope. I don't know if you guys know about this guy on YouTube called T-Lopes. I don't know this guy on YouTube called T-Lopes. You guys have heard of him?
I actually haven't.
Oh, really?
I've seen a few people here and there talk about him, and I had a little. I've heard people say he's Portuguese.
Yeah, he is.
You know, one thing I'd like to see, T-Lope is actually getting to do an official Sonic game. Like, he's pretty dang good. Like, you know, he even was originally going to do this stuff for Sonic 2 HD before it got canned. Because
trust me, I hate that they fucking cancel it. Dwibs, trust me. Go check out T-Lopes' remixes of Sonic 2 HD. They're amazing. And I don't listen to a lot of remixes for Sonic music. I just listen to the actual tracks. Sure. I understand that, Metallic, but trust me, Shiroi. T-Lopes is an exception. Just trust me on that.
I can understand why they'd be a bit hesitant to have to involve fans in the game, considering it's a Sonic fan base we're talking about.
Yeah. Anyway, sure. Basically, look up on YouTube Sonic 2 HD Alpha.
Yeah.
Sure.
T-Lope basically did some remixes.
Sure.
Anyway, to get back into this. Yeah, one more mission, and that was not the correct mission, so we have to do this one now.
Oh, okay.
I think that mission that you did kind of ties into getting the ring.
That's okay, Jova. Thanks to my cheats, I completed with 0 seconds. There you go, Jova. Try to beat this record. 0 seconds.
Alright, sure.
Why, you're gonna actually try? I mean, you're gonna try to complete it in -1 second?
I have my ways.
Oh, really?
Cheating.
Pedro, if Darkspine Sonic has taught me anything, it's respect the limits, but don't limit yourself. Something around that quote that he often shows in his videos.
That actually sounds like the lyrics you hear in a Sonic song.
Trust me, dude, Darkspine Sonic is freaking amazing.
Yeah.
What he can do.
Darkspine Sonic will take a Sonic game and utterly destroy it, and find some incredible ways of skipping levels and completely raping bosses.
Yeah, I wonder if he's done Sonic Genesis. That'd be like a goldmine for him.
I believe he did.
Remember, okay, Jez, are you familiar with that alternate way of defeating the Egg Wyvern in Sonic 06?
Turning the game off?
Well, that too, but aside from that. Basically, back in the day, Darkspine Sonic managed to find one of the most iconic glitches in Sonic history, where basically, if you start, and I will be showing that off in our eventual playthrough.
Oh, like 50% of the most famous glitches to him discovering.
Basically, yeah. And I will also be showing it off on our playthrough when we get to it. But basically, if you start the Egg Wyvern boss battle and you use the Sky Gem, you know, the one that pulls you to it when you throw it. If you use that gem right as the boss is about to charge at you at the beginning, and you throw it somewhere on the platform, and then you aiming attack into the Egg Wyvern to grab it, the gem will pull you back to the platform, and then the boss will just disappear, and you'll just stay there for a couple of seconds, and then the boss battle will just end.
See, here's how it goes.
I'll show you guys after this.
basically, the way it works on a technological level is that, as far as the boss is concerned, you're still there, but when you leave, the boss has this rubber band physics thing that tries to draw to you. Here's the problem, though. The boss has to go outside of the boss arena, and when the boss itself goes outside the boss arena, it registers itself as being dead because, well, if the model's not on there, well, surely the boss must be dead.
Yeah.
So, essentially, Eggman kills himself if you get off.
He couldn't take the shame.
Pretty much.
It's a very easy glitch to. It's a very easy glitch to do, so I'll be demonstrating it myself.
Well, Sonic 06.
That said, though, I do hope that we also get to beat Egg Wyvern properly, if only to get that.
Don't worry, Jova. I'll show both ways. Don't worry.
Yeah, it's like.
Although it's not as hilarious as a glitch in Sonic Genesis I saw.
Oh, hi, Big.
Hi, Big. Basically, there's a glitch in Sonic Genesis where you're running forwards and it has the Sonic running backwards sprite.
Okay.
Is that a glitch or was that just part of the programming? Because it's
because it's Sonic Genesis.
It's Sonic Genesis. It's hard to tell.
This was back in the day where Sonic Team was trying to basically tease us in the sense that, oh, you guys hate Big, fine, but we'll just stuff him in there sometimes for the hell of it.
Yeah, for all of Big's 85 fans.
But yeah, going back to Sonic 06 for a bit, yeah, again, Sonic 06 was Sega of Japan trying to reboot Sonic back into being what they thought was proper Sonic because, well, for the most part, the past few games have been handled by Sega of America, which was led by Iizuka before he was made the head of Sonic Team.
Yeah.
Yeah, for as many problems as Iizuka may seem responsible for, he's kind of our figurehead.
Isn't.
Yeah, he isn't. In fact, Iizuka himself is a pretty good game developer. See, here's the thing that Yuji Naka admitted to when he was made the head of Sonic Team Dev. Basically, becoming the head of Sonic Team is kind of the equivalent of getting the big major, but desk job compared to actually being out on the field.
Mm-hmm.
So
He prefers
basically,
doing stuff as opposed to just sitting on his desk looking bored.
so nowadays Iizuka kinda, while he does have some say in what they do, he can't exactly be hands-on with it, sadly, which is a shame because we owe to Iizuka a lot of the good stuff of the adventure games, and heck, even some of the great stuff from Sonic 3 and Knuckles.
I'm still a bit miffed by how absolutely a mess Shadow the Hedgehog was, though.
Yeah, I mean,
Because remember, he was for that game. He was the lead designer, director, and he wrote the fucking script.
I mean, I can get what he was trying to do with Shadow, and I'll admit, I kind of unironically like Shadow the Hedgehog. I will still admit it does a lot of stupid things, but I do like the end result in that, Shadow actually does progress and stuff. It's
Yes, that's all well and good, but we have to go through a
the journey to get the journey was nowhere near as good as the destination. I think that's what she was trying to say.
I will admit, for such a long time, I had no idea that I had to get all the endings to unlock a true ending all of it.
Yeah, the big problem with that, Jove, is that I understand what you mean. The problem is that the game did not earn its conclusion. That's basically
I would say that it earned it. The problem is that it had too much to get to it. Okay, when you take into context all the cutscenes, you can feel a semblance of a story. The problem is that, it's not exactly clear. Okay, I guess we can assume that some things that happened in the more evil routes didn't happen in the true route. But yeah, that is kind of a shame how, there's only that one set in which, okay, I guess to be fair, yeah, it's something that's going to have a sequel, so I guess it makes sense to make one of the endings canon. I mean, to be fair, a lot of games do that nowadays. But the main issue was...
Okay, just to go slightly back into the game, though, you have to try your best to find all 5 treasure chests, and trust me, this is harder said than done because trying to backtrack in this game is a fucking nightmare. Basically, I gave up and I decided, fuck it, I'll get back to it later. Well, not 5. Never mind. I misspoke.
If you gave
5 eggs. Sorry, I'm 5 eggs. I misunderstood. I misspoke. Sorry about that. Anyway, the point is, yeah, you have to find the 5 thingies, the 5 MacGuffins, and this is so counterintuitive in design-wise. This playstyle was not made with exploration in mind, so it's just an overall bad idea to try to have the player explore with a control scheme like this, which was clearly not made with exploration in mind. This is an on rails game. Commit to it. I mean, I don't like my Sonic games on rails, but if you're going to make one, at least commit to it.
Which is one thing Sonic and the Black Knight did.
Yeah.
Pedro, you're just giving me, the idea of there'll be if I ever run a Sonic game, I'll make a little spin-off one where you do nothing but grind on rails.
They've already done that, Dwebs. It's called Rail Canyon.
Well,
Oh, Canyon.
No, not a whole level, a whole game.
Well, isn't that essentially Sonic Riders?
Its code name would specifically be Testing Pedro's Patience, the game.
Well, when you think about it, dude,
That's the beta name.
when you think about it, dudes, they are essentially using grinding rail animations when riding up the forts in Sonic Riders.
Yeah, sure.
No, Dwebs. No, Liz, I'm going to have to disagree with you. If you want to really test my patience with a game, have Frank Miller write a video game. That would be the true test of my patience, because...
How about we have David Cage write a song?
No, Shiroi. Shiroi, I assure you, from someone to someone, since I know that you don't know anything about Frank Miller, trust me, David Cage is fucking Shakespeare compared to Frank Miller. I'm not even kidding when I say that.
Never ever show me anything Frank Miller, ever.
Trust me. Trust me.
Wait, hold on, do you know about Frank Miller, Shiroi?
No. The fact that I just said this makes her wary. That's what she's saying.
Well, it's probably not a good time to let you know, Shiroi, that,
What?
comics of Frank Miller that you may be involved in, and our Squirm Generation's commentary of the spirit.
Ah.
Cutscene. This power, unlimited power. Cliche reference is cliche. Yeah.
Now I've got me imagining Jason Griffith as Palpatine.
Now fulfill your destiny.
And take your father's place at my side.
Now, young Skywalker, you will die.
Pack of robots.
You know what, I just realized something?
What?
I could so go for a Sonic and Shantae crossover. And know before anyone mentions anything that fan game, which is still in development, is...
Sorry, Joe, but this is the closest you'll get.
No, Pedro, there's actually a Sonic and Shantae fan game crossover.
Oh, yeah.
It's clearly a work in progress. It's actually kind of amazing how bad it is. I may have to record that for the channel.
Sure. We
No
got the
offense to
green
the
chaos. I mean, the green world ring. So yeah, that was another part. I'm sorry for, like, seriously. I swear, if you're gonna play this game, bring in a cheat sheet that tells you which missions you're supposed to do.
Both me and my brother gave up. We just couldn't be bothered. With
Not just that, Jirai. Notice how in order to unlock that green world ring, I had to do a mission of exploring the level and finding 5 eggs with the rest of the enemy. What the hell does that have to do with catching the world rings?
No idea.
I don't. Whatever. Whatever. See you, everybody.
There, Pedro.
See ya.